We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today to Nature's V. Today we have with us Demetrius. Demetrius is the first person in the history of the United States to go from HIV positive to HIV negative. And this story has never been told. We thank Demetrius for coming on Nature's V today. Demetrius is also a spokesman for the Nature's V immunotherapy supplement. And I want, in his own words, for Demetrius to give us his story. How are you doing today, Brother Demetrius?
I'm doing fine, Brother Eric. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you, brother, for asking. We thank you for coming on. And, you know, this interview is sometime coming, but we want to get the information out to people to let them know that they have a choice. And what we want you to do today, if you don't mind, is give us a beginning of your journey with interferon, when it began, and then how you became in contact with Brother Victer's product that eventually, what did Brother Victer's product do? Tell us what it did eventually, but tell us how the journey began with you and your positive diagnosis.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you again for allowing me to be a part of Nature's V family, being a part of your show. This journey started for me about 24, 25 years ago as a member of the Nation of Islam. As far back as I can remember, back in 1991, wasn't really feeling my best. So I developed a very visible rash on the top part of my chest, lower part of my torso. Didn't know what it was. I looked at it for months. And then what happened, I decided to consult Dr. Alim Muhammad. Dr. Alim Muhammad at that time was the Minister of Health and Human Services for the Nation of Islam. Dr. Alim was commissioned by our illustrious leader, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, to go over to Kenya to find out some evidence about a particular cure called Immunex or Imuviron. That delegation was led by the late editor of the Final Call newspaper, Brother Wali Muhammad. They brought it back to the United States. I believe it was in the summer of 1991. I went to Dr. Alim. He did some tests on me. And of course, when anyone finds out that they have a life-threatening illness, you know, the room turns black on you. You know, your life, you know, flashes before your eyes, things of that nature. And you start wondering what could be, you know, what will happen and all of that stuff. So I immediately made a choice. I believe I was at the right place at the right time. So knowing that the Nation of Islam had positioned itself to bring this particular treatment, Imuviron, Immunex, Imuviron, back to the United States, I started taking that immediately because I had heard many stories of AZT and all of the cocktail treatments that were being offered to individuals that were HIV positive who are dealing with AIDS. You know, the side effects and stuff like that. I knew that I did not want that to be a byproduct of what of Western medicine, if you will. So I started taking it, and once I got that diagnosis back from Dr. Alim, I knew then, hey, I need to take this. And I started taking it. At that time, that the treatment, Imuviron, Immunex, was administered by way of tablet. And I took that tablet once before I, you know, went to bed. And I took that for quite some time. And then about a few years. And then I met, Brother Victer. He was already a registered Muslim in Mosque number 4, Washington, D.C. I met Brother Victer. And, you know, we began to develop a relationship with one another. Very good brother, very talented Black man. And did not know at the time that he was a biochemist. I believe he had told me he went to school for law, and somehow or another, he switched his major into science. And I believe that he went to Dr. Aline one day and told him, hey, look, I can make this. So from that point, from about, I want to say late 1993, early 94, I went from the pill, low dose alpha interferon, into the liquid. And I believe that that liquid, now the pill did what it was supposed to do, but I really believe that the liquid form of low dose alpha interferon really got me over the hump, because at that time when I started taking the liquid low dose alpha interferon, I administered it through my nasal passages. And of course, the side effects, and you hear about many side effects, about all of the medicines that they have to offer out here nowadays. You know, consult your doctor if you have nosebleeds, if you know, if your toe fall off, if you know your eyeball get big, and all of the other kind of stuff. So, you know, if your side effects is greater than what you're currently dealing with, you know that that's something that you shouldn't take.
Well, let me
So
ask you
with,
a question real quick, because I
go
don't
ahead.
want you to move too fast, because there's a lot of people who want to hear the story. So, when you were taking the Emuviron that Dr. Coach had, was there a point in time where you could no longer get that product?
No, there was not a time that I didn't know that, if I didn't know that there wasn't, you know, any time that I couldn't get it.
How did you come to start
Dr.
taking
Lean,
the liquid version?
Dr. Lean say, hey, you know, I would say we have a more enhanced version of the product now. So it just went from one level to another level. So hey, you know, whatever works, you know. So I started, you know, from the pill version to the liquid version. So hell, man, you know, I just started taking. Dr. Lean at the time was my doctor. And, you know, when you have a doctor-patient relationship, you develop, like I say, you develop a relationship with your doctor. You tell your doctor about everything. So you trust your doctor. So what happens is once you build that relationship with your doctor say, hey, we're going to stop this and we're going to go to a more enhanced version. So we went to the more enhanced version. Hey, and there it was.
So, had you recorded any of your blood serum viral loads prior to taking the low dose interferon?
Well, what happened was, I want to say it was probably Dr. Aline, you know, monitored me very closely. And I want to say right before, I want to probably say 4 or 5 months before the Million Man March, Dr. Aline said, well, you know, what we want to do, we want to we want to see what your viral load is. And of course, you know, your viral load is high. You know, you're still dealing with elements of the virus, things of that nature. If your viral load is low, you know, that's a good sign. So I had developed in my mind, um, I had already knew I wasn't going to die from this. I had made up in my mind, if I'm going to live, I'm going to live with it, but I'm not going to die from it. Okay. So I made up in my mind that this was not going to take me out, if you will.
Okay,
So
so
Dr. Lean got me. Go ahead.
no. So, at that point in time, had you been getting any um, Western blood tests to tell you what your viral load was prior to um, uh, when you started taking the liquid version of the product?
Yeah, Dr. Lean would test me. I probably say every 6 months to see exactly where I was, you know, with the treatment. And it would come back, what I want to say, it would come back. Virus was still there, but it wasn't doing anything. It, you know, it wasn't reacting. It's like a rash, you know, or like some substance that was there. So I guess that was a good sign then, because it wasn't doing anything. It was just there. Okay. The rash that I told you that that might have looked like little lesions or, whatever was there, that was clearing up. So from pill to liquid, it was doing what it was supposed to do. Of course, diet, took a part of it, because those members of the Nation of Islam, we're taught, how to eat to live, 1 meal a day. So exercise, I started lifting weights and things of that nature. So I was on it. I was on a workout regimen. And I don't know if any of you out there that has seen Doc. I keep calling you doctor. Why am I calling you doctor?
I guess because I deal with a lot of them, but that's not
right.
Really
Right. It's okay. If any of you all have seen Brother Eric's cover page on his Facebook post, I'm right there beside Dr. Aline. And at that time, I mean, I'm healthy. I probably couldn't have weighed no more than 28 pounds wet. You know what I mean? But that was just my regular weight.
Okay.
It wasn't because it wasn't. Yeah.
You're talking about at the Million Man March when you're.
Yeah, the Million Man March, and I didn't want to get so far ahead.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't want to get so far ahead. So what happened was, I've always maintained my weight. I only remember getting sick, very sick, one time throughout this whole ordeal. And that's when Dr. Aline said, because that I had something going on in me, that the medicine was going to war with the poison or the evidence of the virus that was in me, to get what was in me out of me. So that's the last time that I remember, or if any time that I really got sick through the whole process. Okay. Now back to the side effects. And we talked about those side effects. You see it on the commercials and things of that nature. Consult your doctor.
Side effects, though. What side effects of what?
The side effects with low dose alpha interferon. The only side effects that he said that I would have with this was increase of appetite, increase of energy, and and strong sexual drive. And I said, well, hell, if those are the side effects, I take all those.
I'll take all of those.
I take all those, because what happens is, when your doctor or your pharmacist says, well, these are the side effects. Anytime you go to the doctor, you go to the pharmacist, you get a prescription, okay, and the pharmacist will step aside. Well, I want to show you how to take the medicine, and these are the side effects along with the medicine. Everybody goes to the drugstore, everybody goes to the pharmacist, so you know what I'm talking about, okay? So when Dr. Muhammad told me these are the only 3 side effects, I was like, well, damn. I'm thinking, night sweats and all the other kind of stuff. So you telling me increase energy, I'm going to eat more, and I'm going to have a higher sex drive. I mean, man, you can give me all the medicine you want, Chief. I take that all. You know what I'm saying?
What was your energy level like before you started taking it?
Got a little sluggish.
So when you were on the Immuviron, you still felt sluggish?
Still felt, a little bit, but not as much as I was before, okay? Not as much as I was before, because, as soldiers, as FOI, we're out there in the community saving our people, out there pushing the program, doing whatever. I noticed that, and those, we go way back like car seats, we had NOI security back in the day and stuff like that. So, it wasn't anything for us to do, 15 to 18 hour days, okay? So, of course, when you get home, you know how tired you are. But, when you doing that on a consistent basis, I'm tired, but this is an abnormal tired, okay? So, I did notice change when I started taking, the low-dose alpha interferon and things of that nature. But I'm getting to the good part now, for those of you all out there that are listening. So Dr. Aline called me in about August of 1995, and he said, we want to check you out. And, okay, I'm fine, no problem. But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, hell, I mean, I'm still going to be positive. So, what you checking me for? So, but I told you in the beginning of the interview, I had made a decision to live with it and not die from it. Okay. Right. I hope everybody's out there listening to what I'm saying. So Dr. Aline pulls me in August. This is 2 months before the Million Man March. There were two doctors that partnered with the Abundant Life Clinic that was in Washington, D.C. at the time, that was ran by Dr. Aline. They were from Charles Drew Medical Center in Los Angeles, California, and they came up with the Target test. The Target test is equivalent to EPT, the testing, the pregnancy testing kit, if you will. And Dr. Leem said, we want to see where you are, see what's going on. Boom. I said, okay, fine. So these particular doctors created this Target test. So it was my time to go up, to go in the back and get tested. So I took my first test. I never forget it. I took the test on one finger. It came back negative. Dr. Leem said, go back. I don't believe it. So, test him again. And anybody knows Dr. Leem, his voice is very heavy, very raspy, So needless to say, I tested 5 times, and all these 5 fingers, and all of them came back negative. Now, mind you, 94, I started taking low-dose alpha interferon in the liquid form. We're here now in August of 95, a few months out before the Million Man March, okay? So Dr. Aline said, I don't believe it. So what we're gonna do, National Health Laboratories at that time, 24 years ago, was called, now called LabCorp, okay? National Health Laboratories, we used to use them to send out blood samples, blood testing and things of that nature. And the test was called the Western blot, or the ELISA, some may call it the ELISA. So what happened was, one test confirms the other, okay? So he said, we're gonna take these tests, and then, it took maybe about a week and a half to come back. So I'm calling the clinic, are they back yet? Are they back yet? Like the child sitting in the back seat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? You know what I mean? So so one day he said, well, brother, come on in. We got something to talk about. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So when I get there, he's sitting behind his desk and he has my chart. And he said, brother, I had some very, awkward news. And I'm saying, man, look, I had bad news 3 years ago. I don't need any more bad news. And he said, well, no, this is not bad news. He said, how we measure how we measure the virus and what's going on with it. He said, your T cell count is very high, and your T cell count goes in 3 levels. I think one was at 1100, one was at 13, another one was at 1500. He said, I've never seen anything like this before. I almost think my paperwork is doing tricks on me. And he said, you have no viral load. I said, what does that mean? He said, you have no viral load. He said, it's 0. Your viral load is 0. And he said, according to my data, what we sent off, he said, brother, you're negative. So I sat back and I said, you need to say it again. Brother, you don't hear me? He said, you're negative. You no longer have the virus, HIV, that causes AIDS.
Hold on one second. The signal's getting a little unstable because I don't know why, but we'll cut this part.
Maybe it's because of what I said.
Okay, so go back over that again. He told you in the office what? Just go back over there one more time. You went in.
So when I get to the office, went into the office. I did those testings with the testing kit and the Western blot and ELISA with National Health Laboratory. So I had to wait about a week and a half to come back. Mm-hmm. So when I got back in front of him on my doctor's appointment that day, he said, hey, there's something that's going on with your data here, things of that nature. Your T cell count is off the chain, 1100, 13, and 1500. He said, I've never seen anything like this ever. And he said, you have no viral load. I said, what does that mean? What does that mean? There's nothing there. I said, what do you mean there's nothing there? What he said, you can't hear me, brother? There's nothing there. You no longer have the virus.
What virus?
HIV.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say that one more time. You no longer have the virus because the low dose alpha interferon that we've had you from pill to liquid form, okay? And let me make this perfectly clear. The pill form came from Nairobi, Kenya, from Dr. David Koech, who is the founder, who is the creator, who is the author of that. What Brother Victer did, Brother Victer is a biochemist. He cloned, he did a formula that got it in a liquid form. He took it from one form and put it in another form. I want everybody to get this. I really want you to know who Brother Victer Muhammad is. Because if it had not been for Brother Victer Muhammad, we would not be having this conversation right now.
Yes, sir.
Get it straight.
So how long had you been on the low dose interferon alpha? How long do you think did you took it?
A year and a half.
A year and a half?
Yes, sir.
And after a year and a half, you became
Boom.
HIV negative.
HIV negative, a year and a half.
So was this ever announced to anybody? Did you guys ever talk to anybody about your serodeconversion?
Well, it's funny that you say that, my brother, because 3 days before the Million Man March, Dr. Aleem said, well, we bringing you up at the Million Man March. I said, what does that mean? He said, I'm bringing you up. So understand, October the 16th, 1995, every media outlet on the planet was either streaming, downlink video sync with satellites or cameras there. They were there at the Million Man March. And I want to believe, if my time is correct, if we go back and look at the video, it was probably anywhere between 11:20 and 11:45 when we made the announcement. Brother Demetrius, by taking low dose alpha interferon, what was your status before taking low dose alpha interferon? My words were positive. He said, after taking low dose alpha interferon, what is your status now? Negative. 2.2 million people, whoever was looking at it from near, far, whatever, heard what I said. And it's documented and it's archived.
So did any of the major news outlets ever contact you after that announcement?
Not a damn one.
Any doctors contact you after that?
No, sir.
Any studies done on you after that?
No, sir. No doctors, no philanthropists, no one. And mind you, I wanna make this perfectly clear, because I know this is live. We came out October the 16th, 1995, okay? In the April edition of Ebony magazine, our brother, Irving Magic Johnson, from which we heard back in 1993, maybe 1992 or 1993, that he had also found out that he had contracted HIV and AIDS. So don't know whether he had access to treatment, things of that nature. We don't know, okay? So what Ebony did in the April edition of Ebony magazine, he was on the cover along with him and his wife, Cookie. And the headline said, I am healed, I am cured. So what happened was, we made our announcement before the world, October the 16th, 95. Ebony put something out April 1997. So you can't tell me that Ebony magazine wasn't at the Million Man March.
Yes, sir. Well,
and they put that on the cover of Ebony magazine April 1997.
Were there any other people in the Abundant Life Clinic that were taking the interferon alpha with you?
I believe so. Yes, they were. I will not disclose their names on this particular juncture. Excuse me.
No problem. Did you know of anybody else that had the same outcome as you did on the interferon alpha?
I believe they remained asymptomatic to where they showed no signs of symptoms, but no one has been declared in Abundant Life Clinic history outside of myself. I'm the only one in Abundant Life Clinic history that declared to the world that I am no longer HIV negative.
Was there any?
I'm no longer HIV positive. Excuse me. I'm HIV negative.
Was there any announcement prior to your announcement that you know of any other human being ever going from positive to negative?
The minister in 1993, I believe, did a lecture at Mos Mariam headquarters, and that particular lecture was called "I'll Be the Winner, Living or Dead," one of my favorite lectures. And I'm talking about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, leader of the Nation of Islam. One of Dr. Alim's clients by the name of Brother Julian Muhammad, I believe that he was a client as well, and he was there and made the announcement that he was taking the medicine and he was doing just fine. But he was not brought up at the Million Man March. Who you're talking to was brought up at the Million Man March.
So did they ever announce that Brother Julian was HIV negative?
No, sir.
But he was taking, at that time, he was taking the Kimron by Dr. David Coates.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when did you first make contact with biomedical scientist, research engineer, Victer Muhammad, the creator of liquid low-dose alpha interferon?
Probably about 1993, 94. I just noticed that Brother Victer started coming over to the clinic and stuff like that because I was assisting Dr. Alim in various projects at the Abundant Life Clinic. So, Brother Victer, just showed up one day. Just like you. You just showed up one day. You know what I'm saying? So both of you all veterans in the FOI, in God's Army. And you all became, very good friends of mine. I did not know the extent of what Victor's role was at that time, but I can honestly say if Brother Victer did not do what he did with Viron Immunex to make it into what it is now, to low dose alpha interferon in liquid form, like I said, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
Do you think that after 25 years of this information not being known or not being made known, because it was made known to the world right after you found out, 2 months after you found out in August 95, and the Million Man March was in October 95. So
yes, sir.
It was made on a grand stage that you had went from HIV positive to HIV negative. And that clip is available to the world. We do have it at our website at natures-v.com under the supplement recipient, where you can see where Brother Demetrius is there and the information of him making the announcement that he was negative. So how many years have you been negative?
24 years and counting.
So
hold on, let me put it. That's two fingers. For 24 years and counting.
Now, so did you have children at that time?
Oh yes, I had children. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any children after that?
I got a 4-year-old right now. Yes, sir.
I'm talking about, but when you became negative in 95, did you have children?
Yeah, I did.
How many did you have then?
1, 2, 3 more after that.
Okay. And so no problems, no history, no nothing, no HIV, no nothing.
My children are healthy by God's permission. Yes, sir.
And so how long after that did you continue taking the supplement once you became negative?
I didn't take the supplement no more.
So you're saying that after you found that you were negative I'm sorry, but it's a beautiful story. After you found out
Yeah.
you were negative, you just stopped taking the supplement.
I can't stop, man. You know what I'm saying?
So
I
you
mean,
haven't taken.
no, not at all. No,
Okay,
no,
so other than the supplement I sent you for that little cough you had some months back ago, you haven't had it.
no, sir. I
And,
haven't coughed since we've been on the air, have we?
and so the cough went away afterwards too, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that wasn't but what? Well, how many days treatment was that? Like
Maybe it's 7 days.
7-day treatment. And,
Yeah.
and that hack you had all this time for how long? You had it?
No,
How
no
long
more
you had it
hacking.
before? No more hacking.
No more hacking, man.
Well, that's a beautiful thing too. I don't know how people are going to take what we're saying, but I know the history that you have given us of being the first person. Well, let me say this to you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the first person in the history of the United States to announce that you went from HIV positive to HIV negative in a public forum that you know of?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So say that with your own words. In your own words.
I am. Hold on. Let me take off my hat so folk can see me. As far as I know, since October the 16th, 1995, before 2.2 million black men, maybe 20 to 30,000 black women, they were instructed to be home by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. They were there too, so you count them in the numbers. As far as I know, publicly, face to face, eyeball to eyeball, kneecap to kneecap, close intervals, dress right dress. I'm the only one that I know of.
That what?
That was HIV positive, now HIV negative, due to the fact of I call Dr. Victer Muhammad because as close as it is, because of what he was able to do with Immuviron, Immunex, to low dose alpha interferon in the liquid form.
So you're saying that because of his creation of what we now call IB100, low dose alpha interferon, which was created by Victer Muhammad, biomedical scientist Victer Muhammad, that is why you're HIV negative today?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Now, I understand that what had been a series of events to lead up to this, that, like I said, a series of events, because if the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had not told Dr. Aline to go to Africa, we wouldn't be where we are right now. So you have to definitely give credit to what credit is due. It's like passing over the baton or handing over the mantle to someone else. Everyone has a part in the race, okay? And now Victer is in this race. Brother Victer Muhammad is in this race. We need to understand that he is responsible for this. We need to understand that God placed it in him to switch roles, to switch majors in school. He was in school for law. Then something changed his mind. I'm glad God changed his mind.
Yes,
Okay?
sir. Yes, sir.
I'm glad God changed his mind. Yeah, we need to know what this is. We need to know what this product can do. We need to understand the power of this product. It's a very powerful product. And like we talked about the side effects and things of that nature. You don't need to know if the medicine is working if your damn eye fall out your head, if you lose your toe or something like that. That's not a side effect. That's adding more complications to what you're currently dealing with in your current illness.
Yes, sir.
You're already dealing with something already that you don't know how you're going to get out of. So you don't need more stuff to happen to you to prove that something is working. You need less stuff happening to you to know that it's working.
So, our viewers don't know that we have other people who were diagnosed with HIV that currently take the IB100, and they don't take their antivirals anymore. What would you say to them on their course? Because a lot of people, they want to, they think it's a magic bullet and it takes time. And what would you say to them, those that are on it and maybe don't understand what you went through getting from HIV positive to HIV negative? What would you say to them about the product, and what would you say to them about the course of their life that they're trying to change?
Well, I believe everything that we go through starts in your brain, it starts in your mind. So as I said on the course of this interview, that I made up in my mind first that I wasn't going to die from it. I guess I would just live with it. Okay. So let's lay that as a foundation. Illnesses, they've been talked to us like the boogeyman, if you would. You get cancer, you get this, you get that, and you have somebody else that's on the other side giving you the diagnosis. Now, I want to give you a picture. If anybody's ever seen the photograph of the symbol of the Medical Association of Medicine, it is a rod, okay, with two snakes going up the rod. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So what happens is you have good men and women decide that they want to get into medicine, okay? Some for good purposes, some for bad purposes. But understand, those that study medicine in the United States up under that symbol, they are getting into a movement to where they are practicing medicine. So what happens is we become human guinea pigs of them practicing on us instead of them getting with individuals like Victer or Dr. Patrice out of Chicago, Illinois, Dr. Patrice Muhammad, and finding avenues to, instead of practicing on us, and healing us, because we are looking for healing. We don't want to be practiced on. So on the onset of me finding out that I was positive, I knew I wasn't going to Walter Whitman Clinic or whatever that clinic was in Washington, D.C. That wasn't an option for me, okay? Because I knew what we had right here within the nation with Dr. Alim, with other doctors that were connecting with him and stuff like that. I didn't have to, well, let me pray on it and all that other kind of stuff. I didn't need to do none of that. I already knew. I saw the effect on what some of my friends that were HIV positive or already had dealing with full-blown AIDS and stuff like that, coming to the clinic with lunch pails of different treatments and bottles of medicine. I didn't want that for my life. I didn't want to take 30 to 40 to 60 pills a day. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't want that. And I wasn't going to do that. So I knew if I had to take a pill once before I went to bed, and then that pill turned to a liquid once before I went to bed, hell, man, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
But I understand well, I ain't gonna say that. I let that go.
Yes, sir. Son, I don't want you to, we want to use this to convince people that they do have an alternative.
And the alternative is there. The alternative is there. It's natural. It's harmless. And I really want the listening audience to know that you have options. The scripture said, is there a balm in Gilead to heal the wounded soul? Is there a balm in Gilead to make the sin sick whole? What we have in front of us is that balm in Gilead, this particular treatment that has been given to us. But I believe that God worked through a man to say, hey, I can take this on another level and heal my people. That's where we are.
Well, we want to make this the first of, many interviews with you. And we will go and put this out there so people can see and hear from the first man that we know of in the world Brother Demetrius will go from HIV positive to HIV negative. He's been HIV negative for 24 years. He took a particular supplement that's available today. It has been available, and he's a part of the Nature's V team. He's a spokesman for the product, and we just want to get it out there to let people know. You know, there's a lot of people who have lost family members, and a lot of people who've lost their lives unnecessarily due to them not knowing this information. So I know at Nature's V, we feel a fiduciary responsibility to get that information out. And I'd like to thank you for giving us your time. You know, you took it at a spur of the moment in the car. You know, I know that you would have preferred to, get to your regular decorum and, do the things that you needed to do. But I thank you for taking it. And I want to let our listening audience know that we'll have you back on as soon as you're available. And tell us a little bit about your ministry that you're doing right now.
Well, Minister Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told me the day after the Million Man March. And I want to say this to pastors. This is what I really need for pastors to understand. The minister has always talked about, how we create division in our own particular places of worship, our sects, and, things of that nature. The minister gave me a declaration back October the 17th, 1995, to go back to the church and strengthen the brothers. And it took me quite some time to really understand what that all means. I just believe that I have just been, of the chosen few to go back and strengthen the brothers, whether that be in the form of what we're doing with Nature's V, what I've learned, just being, fruit of Islam, or any kind words or any way that we're able to save the Black man of what he's currently dealing with right now. And when the minister gave me that, it took me a long time to understand it. But now that I'm understanding, because, age supposed to, give you wisdom,
Yes, sir.
As you can see, Brother Eric got a little gray hair right there. So he's gained a lot of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So needless to say, I started a ministry called Enlarging Territory Global Fellowship. And it's still, it's still evolving. But I need for the pastors to understand this. If it doesn't come from your branch of Zion, that does not mean it's not any good. Jesus said, I have flock that are not of this fold.
That's what
he said. I have flock that are not of this fold. So, even Jesus had, representation, colleagues that may not have rolled with the core 12 disciples that rolled with him every day. Okay.
Paul was not one of those, brother.
You understand what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So what happens is just because it came out of the mouth of a Muslim, that don't mean that it ain't no good. Half of the food that we eat every day ain't made by Christians. It's made by folks that's killing us every day. So we got to get out of that, I ain't gonna deal with him because, he deals with Muslims and everything like that. We got to stop that. That has to stop, because there are many blessings that come our way that don't necessarily come from folks that is the same religious persuasion that you are.
Or race or creed.
So we have to come out of that. We definitely have to come out of that.
Well,
because there are pastors out here suffering with ailments. They're suffering with ailments and that are slowly dying. So I need you all to understand, there is a man that is by the name of Victer Muhammad that can heal your pastor, that can heal your deacon, that can heal your trustee, that can heal your church mother, that can heal your church sexton, the one that cleans up your church, okay? The one that can help your diaconate board. There's a man by the name of Victer Muhammad that can give you help and aid to everything that you might be dealing with currently with your health status in your church. Know his name.
Well, we want to help you with your ministry, because I know you explained to me you wanted to take the health aspect into the church because of the condition of the health of those in the church. And
Yes, sir.
so, again, I want to thank you for having us, this interview with us today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking it at such a short notice. And we'll have you back to speak more in depth and more concise to what we're doing here at Nature's V and at Life Sciences of Washington, the nonprofit for Brother Victor. And anything else you want to close with?
I want to say this to the viewing and listening audience. I think it was back August, July. Brother Joshua Muhammad, former Supreme Captain of the Nation of Islam, Abdul Sharif Muhammad's son, whom now Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad is the Southern Regional Minister of the Nation of Islam. His son had a show on, and I need you all to understand this brother here, Brother Eric Muhammad, Brother Victer Muhammad, and Sister Patrice. They were all on a show one day on Facebook. And mind you, I hadn't seen any of these individuals, an exception of Sister Patrice, since 2010, but I had not seen Brother Victer or Brother Eric for 24 years. So I feel like they are responsible for getting me out of my grave. Or Brother Eric would say, the one who is carrying out this broadcast, this interview. He said, brother, you were just in the desert for a little while. So I just want everybody to know that we have jewels in front of us, because if it wasn't for this brother over the past 6 months, you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not going to tell y'all what he told me before we got on the air, okay? But I just want you to know, brother, you don't know how much I love you and the admiration and respect that I have for you. And although we have not seen each other in the flesh, I still feel very connected to you, as if we hadn't lost stride in those 24 years. So that's what I need you to know. I love you, Brother Victer. Sister Patrice, love you too. Love the work that you're doing in national headquarters in Chicago, Illinois. And let's get this thing done.
Well, brother, I just want to tell you that I'm grateful to Allah that He's given us this journey together.
Yes, sir.
It's not an easy journey.
No, sir, not at all.
You know, we used to ask ourselves a question: who will make war with the beast?
God knows, you better believe it, man.
And when you're trying to change the condition of a world that is subjected to truths mixed with falsehoods, yes, and lies behind money, you tend to lend yourself to be subjected to that environment. And to
yes,
know you have a brother like yourself, and a brother like Brother Victer Muhammad, and a sister like Dr. Patrice Muhammad.
Yes.
We're a few in a world to trying to help many. And
yes, sir.
I appreciate what you put forth today. You know, this is not something that's taken lightly by the world that we're saying, but as long as we're saying it, it's there for them to see. And we'll
yes, sir.
And we pray that Allah will grant us His favor and protect us and guard us. But we've made a decision that, as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and as Master Fard Muhammad had to do, to get to the other side, you will have to come face to face with the number one opponent of God. So,
yes, sir.
Thank you for listening, my brother. Thank you for telling us your story. We'll be
Thank
back
you for the invitation. Thank you.
We'll be back to get more of your story. Thank you
yes,
for
sir.
being a spokesman for Nature's V. And let's get the healing out to the people, brother.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Inshallah, we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Blessings.
Blessings to you also, brother.
Yes, sir. Peace. Wa alaikum salam.